But clearly, where most people probably heard the song that weren't already big death metal fans is, of course, Ace Ventura, Pet
Right.
Detective with Jim
Right.
Carrey, who wanted you guys in the movie. And I remember talking to, I can't remember if it was you or Alex,
Right.
or it might even been Barnes. I can't remember. Probably all three of you at some point. But you guys said, "Hey, we've been offered to do this movie. You know, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Jim Carrey. You know, he was just on that In Living Color. I didn't really.
Right.
I knew him. I knew the show. I was like, whatever." And they sent me the script, and I read the script, and it was horrible, like horrible. And so I remember talking to you guys. It's like, because at that point, you know,
Right.
underground death metal band, you're doing really well in the underground world. It's rising, and you know,
Yep.
it's a bit of a risk, because if the
Right.
movie's not good or it's too commercial, it's too corny, does that ruin your credibility? But you guys
Right.
decided to do it. Why? What made you decide to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it was such a crazy opportunity, right? So off the wall that we weren't expecting anything like that. And I remember when we got the call to, whomever called us I guess it was you guys probably to see if we wanted to do this, or we got the offer to do that. So at first it definitely was like, wow, that's crazy. In a slapstick comedy, when we found out it's Jim Carrey, and we of course all loved Jim Carrey at that point. We did love the show in Living Color. I remember watching it all the time. And I think we just mulled it over, and we, as long as we weren't depicted as in a comedic sense, I guess, we felt like, well, why not? It's just something different, something fun. I think with being all young and just gung ho, and why not do it? I guess so. Yeah, and like I said, I just remember us going, as long as we just got to hope, and I don't know if we were even reassured that we wouldn't be made look, we wouldn't be made look, silly or anything, or comedic, and the way the band's portrayed. I think we just went for it, and we were hoping for the best. And obviously it all worked out, and here we are talking about a
Yeah,
legendary
that was
classic movie that right, that so many people got into Cannibal Corpse and death metal because of that. Amazing, huh?
Well, yeah, and it's interesting, because I remember talking to the producer and the director about it, and they were, somewhat reassuring that, look, we want the band. Jim loves the band. He doesn't want to make fun of them. He wants to
Right.
have them in, and he just thought it'd be fun to have a death metal thing, which was, again, just kind of adds to the insanity of the movie.
Right.
But the quick story about the movie. So there's a screening in L.A., in Hollywood, and both the producer and the director invited me to the screening.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I mean, I got to go, right? Our band's in it, but I'm really nervous, because again, the script was awful, like
Right.
really not good. So I go to the screening. I'm sitting between the director and the producer. I'm thinking to myself before the starts, like, what do I do? What do I say afterwards if this thing is just awful? It turns out it was incredible.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey basically ad-libbed probably 90% of that movie. Like
Right.
the script was just kind of a guideline, but I asked him afterwards, I don't remember any of that stuff being in the script. So, we threw out the script and just let Jim go. So,
Amazing.
but yeah, it turned out to be obviously a great decision for you guys. And like you said, so many people discovered this song, and so many people just discovered death metal at all from
Right.
this thing. And it's played constantly all the time. And Jim's in it. The best version of it, though, is the DVD cut where he's on stage, and
Right.
all that like long cut of it. But
Right. Yeah, that network version. I know. I mean, when we went and saw the movie initially, because we obviously filmed all this stuff, which we realize later, well, that's what ends up happening. Movie, so much left on the cutting room floor. And when we saw it, we were so thrilled the movie was good, and here we are on the big screen. And then I remember watching it going, oh man, what happened to the one scene where Jim jumps on stage, and there was like another scene. There was a couple scenes that didn't make it. And then a year later, when it ended up being on like TBS or whatever it was, and there it was like, oh my gosh, at least it's seen the light of day. And because exactly those scenes are the best ones. I'm surprised they actually took those out and didn't have it in the theatric version, but I'm glad they still were able to see the light of day.
Well, that was back in the day when movies had to be short. So I think
Yeah.
the movie had to be, I can't remember what the screen time was when it first came out, probably 90 minutes, and
I think so. Right.
not more than that. So at least when they did the DVD version of it,
Right.
or VHS or whatever it was that first came out, that's when they had the long version of it. And I'm happy that that's the one that all the TV stations started to play too, because you never know how that goes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Amazing to be a part of that. Yeah, for sure.
So